Salmon boys, how we doing?
Yeah, good man.
Right, all good.
Good. Welcome back to This Is My Story, your unofficial Hearts podcast, back on YouTube for Rido, the big man. Missed us last week. We're back because we've not got that ugly boy. What was it called? Ewan Murray or something, wasn't it?
Ewan something.
He was too scared to get his face on the. How has all been this week, Ando? What's your week been like?
I no bad. Back at work this week. Less said about that, the better. And I've done a tam this week. There's not really much has happened apart from about some shelves to go in the garage at the weekend. Watched Hearts with you on our call on Friday. And just generally sick of life. That's it.
I don't blame you. I also was with you on that call watching Hearts. It was very enjoyable. Sam, what's your week been like?
As Ando said, nothing's happened. So, all good.
Good. That's bouncing. We like a good high, positive energy into the podcast. We like it. Bells and whistles for our first day back on YouTube.
Try to think if there's anything, but honestly not. Carry on.
What about you? What have you been up to? Work crap, sitting in a dark room, anything else? What have you been up to?
I had to sit in a dark room after Friday night's performance. The other half was going absolutely tonto at me for swearing left, right and centre. I think we were probably all in exactly the same boat. And then, back to work on Monday. Shite, really, innit?
Very true. Philippe Albert, how are you getting on with Newcastle? Steve Bruce out?
Well, actually, I've had quite an exciting week. I've done fuck all. So I'm the exact same as everybody else.
Good.
I'm just embracing my kind of baldness now. Feel with this top, I'm embodied Kit's Bio. Was he the one that went mental?
He was the one that went mental, aye.
I'm gonna go with that. If Hearts lose again, I'm just gonna kick the fuck out of the house like he did.
That's good. That's getting more like the energy we want. The vibes we want. Shanks, how's your week been? You missed us last week. Shat it. Back with the boys this week.
Sorry, I couldn't make it last week. I was snowed in, and I've not really got any part. Just been working. Good to be back.
That was good. We replaced your illogical part with knowledge with you and Murray, and it was joyful. It was great to have some common sense break out on the podcast. As we said, thanks to you and Murray for joining us last week. It was good. It was good to get a wee break for the nonsense. As I said at the start, this is my story podcast, your unofficial Hearts podcast. As we say every week, we're not affiliated to the football club. This week we'll return to the usual nonsense. We've got all our features back this week. We'll have Shanks McCann in a wee second. You don't happen to have the right answers and the shout-outs from your Shanks McCann from 2 weeks ago, do
you?
No.
Yes.
Good. Let's just make them up. Just call out, boys.
You did it last week, no?
No, we said you were going to do it. That's what we said. We said we'll wait for Shanks to do it. This is you.
You left us dancing in the wind. You're a piece of shit.
Aye, so just...
So that's why he's put you right on the spot just because of that reason.
Just to say, well done to Big Jambo, Dave. He got it right. Thanks to wee Jambo Stu. He got it right. Just make up names, they'll be fine.
Davey McClure probably got it right. So
he's always
hats off to Davey.
He would be all right, probably. Andy Dixon, he's another one that gets them right every week. So we'll have Shanks McCann. We'll have Deividas Quiznauskis with myself. Ando's going to do Away Up Gorgie. We'll have Noah's By Our Noise with Brad's. And Kev's going to take us on the Gorgie boys are in town. We'll do a bit of an away day. We'll have headlines. Our Pat Stanton bedwetting feature is just a review of the Queen of the South game because there was lots of soaking wet pants, and rightly so. You'll have to try and convince me otherwise. We'll look forward to Morton on Saturday, and that's about pretty much it, isn't it? So you can catch us on the social medias. They're on the screen, but for the audios, you can get us on Twitter. This is my story pod. You can get in contact with us at the website, which is admin@thismystory.uk, and you can contact us on Instagram, which is This Is My Story 1874. Right, cool. Shanks. I'm not going to lie, I missed Shanks McCann last week. So what do you have for us this week? Talk us through what it is, and then gears the three players, and we'll see if we can figure them out.
Okay, so there are three players that I will tell you my thoughts on You've got to guess who they are, based on my very good Hearts knowledge, obviously. Right, first player. Limited clues. Hearts boy, jobby wee right back, built like a fiver, used to clean Maybury's boots, played against us this season. Player number 2, injury prone, away on internationals often, some peachy dinking free kicks, and a wee wizard when he fancied it. Always brought the flair.
Ric Flair.
Woo! Player number 3, Hearts boy again. He thought he was class. Thankfully, Karanka tickled his balls and he fucked off after landing the best slam dunk I've ever seen. Now cleans Osman's boots. That's your 3.
Right. It's fantastical.
Like it.
We'll put them on the social medias. And then Shanks will this time write down all the people that got them right. And we'll have proper shout-outs next week for the people that are bothered to write in. The disrespect you have for your fans, Shanks.
Nobody got them all right. Everybody got 2 max. So, fucking up your game, listeners. Andy Dixon did get Graham Weir. I actually have no idea how to work Twitter because I'm a da. Kyle Borthwick, you thought it was Jamie Hamill. You're miles off. And Andy Lomax, fair play. Callum the Raj Patterson. Although I think one of you humped it by saying that he was half their size, even though I told you that he was supposed to be half their age.
Aye. So
Who done the graphic for that?
Aye, what you've tried to do is throw us under the bus for the graphic that you made.
Listeners, there was 2 graphics. There was a correction graphic. Can we update my Shanks McCann Pokemon card, please? Because I look like Rab. I'm not having it.
Right, well, send me a picture of you minus the beard, and I'll bet you right back onto Austin McCann's face.
Wait a minute. Shanks McCann Pokemon card. Has somebody been taking a piss at us and I didn't know about it?
No, he's talking.
Oh, right, okay. Aye. For the audio guys, you'll well, I've got a copy of that image. I'll make it available on the socials somehow. I don't know how, but we'll do it because that's class.
Right, that's cool. Like we said, we'll definitely put them on the social medias, and we'll get a list of everybody that got them right for next week. Cool. Want to do headlines first, and then we'll dive into a wee quiz before we end it. You can tell we're trying to stall because no one really wants to talk about what happened at Queen of the South. But we'll get there. We're on it together. We'll have to get through it together. We'll hold your hands as we go through it. Right. Headlines. John Souttar is back training. Hearts posted videos today. He's back in full training. That's got to be good news all round, innit? He's a boy that gets better the longer he doesn't play.
Do we want to do maybe don't want to flog a dead horse, but bring out the old fact of the week, and we'll just sweepstake how long it is before his elastic tendons absolutely snap for the 4th and what is maybe actually the 5th and final time. How many weeks is he going to last? I'll say 10.
We'll put it in the predictions. We get a wee table running.
10 games, and then he'll be retiring, I reckon. God love the boy, but you know what? He never gets a very good run, does it? It's good that he's back training. Can't argue that, but how long are we going to get out of him?
Here's what I would say. Don't even think about playing him this season.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
There's no point. The parks are crap. The players are crap. Get him fit. Let him do what he needs to do. Like, do you know what I mean? Let him have a wee break, because rehab and all that sort of stuff, it's probably took its toll. Let him have a wee break and let him come back the first day of pre-season, and hopefully he can start a career, because he definitely is up there as the best defender that we have at the football club. He's one of the players I think has got the most potential to make us Craig Gordon-esque money, but he has to play football. He has to prove that he can stay fit to even get anywhere near that. But Tam, what were you going to say?
Do you know, I always find it concerning with Souttar that he always beats the medical advice by like a month and starts training and running early. Like, that's maybe the reason why he keeps getting injured. Do you know what I mean?
That maybe more reflective of Hearts.
Well, aye, probably that. Aye.
Anything else? Brad's what you're going to say.
I kind of think like Ando's touched on a kind of serious point that I would be concerned about with him as well. I get the feeling he might have that thought process as well. Maybe when you're playing after so many big injuries, is he going to be coming back on one more and I'm fucked? Like one more on this. Does that change the way that you play? Does that change you as a player? Like, are we going to see the same player that we had before? Is he going to be diving into challenges? Is he going to be fully committed to everything? I know it's easy to say that we hope he would, but in the back of your mind, he could be thinking, I need to watch myself. This is my career. So,
well, I'll go in the positive route then if you are writing him off after 10
off, but you know what I mean.
I agree. It's a tough one for him, but I genuinely hope that, Hearts we've seen it before with Craig Levein. There's nothing worse than a player not reaching their potential when, whether it's at Hearts or somewhere else. He's the type of guy that's had such bad luck that anything, he's due a break. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's due a break, and hopefully there's no pressure on him to come back like before, like with Berra and Naismith and the other injuries. We were rushing these guys back because we needed them. Like, we needed them in the leagues. We needed them back and fit. Now, like you said, we're playing in the Jobby League. We absolutely have no reason to rush him back. We've got more than enough cover. So that's good to see him back. Talking of defenders as well, I've done absolutely zero research to figure out what the guy's name is, but we are potentially just about to sign right back from the League of Ireland. Anybody know much about him? Because if you do, let me know his name. That would be. You can write into us. Write into us at This My Story, PO Box 1874. Let us know what his name is.
I don't know how to actually pronounce his first name. His surname is Hume. Done. There you go.
Hume.
Well, that was easy.
Try Hume or something like that his name is. I've seen.
So is
Hume.
Yes.
I want you in my womb.
Yeah. What was it? It comes from Cameroon.
Well, you just said Ireland. But
Anywhere in Ireland that rhymes with Cameroon. Right.
Again, that's nothing to get excited about with that, to be honest with you, because it'll be a short-term deal, I would imagine, to cover Jamie Brandon's injury, and then pretty much it, because Mikey Smith's not being replaced anytime soon unless we change the shape.
He's only like 19 or something, wasn't he?
Oh, is he?
Aye.
It's going to be Bobby Burns, isn't he? He'll be in New Zealand or Australia within 6 months, and then back to playing Vida League for Arbroath or something. Strange one this week. Broke just hours before the Queen of the South game that we've allowed Craig Whiting to join Dunfermline officially on loan for the rest of the season. Obviously, he's agreed a pre-contract with them. Again, I've got no issue with Craig Whiting going. I don't think, even if he did, I never think he'd reach his potential at Hearts. There's too much scorched earth happened in the past. I just don't think he'll ever get a fair crack of the whip at Hearts. So it makes sense. It's just the timing. If we get an injury to Boyce or like Nandwi Lee or whatever's already injured, leaves us really Naismith, potentially Henderson as cover.
What's the extent of the injury on Nandwi?
I think he just felt like he had a tight hamstring or something like that, is what I think.
That's what Nielsen said on Friday night. It was a tight hammy.
So it's not a disaster then.
I know, but it's Hearts. It's Hearts. A tight hamstring can turn into John Suter-esque times on the sidelines.
9 month suit. Yep.
Anybody bothered? No bothered anything to say about Whiting diving it? None.
I feel probably a little bit sorry for him now that I know he's gone and he's not coming back. In the sense that I don't think anyone, let's be honest, did anyone ever really take to him? I know I didn't. Like, he's just a bit of an ugly wee bastard, right enough. But I don't know why, I just couldn't take to him.
Be careful with that now that we're on YouTube, because people will insult us back. If anybody says I'm ugly, I'll greet them.
I never really took to him. I know he scored a few decent goals or whatever, but nah, he wasn't for me. So I don't wish him any ill though. Fair wins and following seas. See you later. But that's it.
You should do all right up in Perth.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Rab, I had to say it.
I've got a feeling. Sorry, Corbett. Pump off to somebody else. He's going to be decent. It's going to be like John Daly. Couldn't he score a tall for Hearts, goes to Motherwell and scores a barrel load? You're like, what have you been doing?
John Daly?
Not John
Aye.
Daly, John Sutter, Sutton.
Hey!
Really well, yeah.
Should have had like Scott Robinson or like somebody who's actually flying.
Guillaume,
Glad.
like,
Aye.
cut him some slack. He meant to be joining Away the Lads podcast. he had the wrong password and he's joined into this, so he's just trying to do his best. Aye, I'm the same. I'm with you, Ando, as well. I think it's not to do with him. It's just you know when players start on a bad foot at a club, it's hard for them to ever break that. And I think Whiting was always going to be like that. I think he leaves Hearts, played for us for 3 years, and I think he scored 7 goals or something. So it's not massive. So there we go. Only other real headlines this week. We're up to 9,000 Cali tickets sold as well. Here's a stat for you that because we mentioned Rab. I won't be happy until we have sold more tickets than the official attendance of East End Park. So that's my next thing that I want to home in on is selling more tickets than Dunfermline can actually shift for their home games. That's my next one. For no other reason other than it will upset Rab.
What's the attendance East End? It's
I'm going to buy a second.
11,000.
11.5 or something. Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know.
But I got so better that I googled it. They haven't had more than 10,000 at a game since like 2001 or something like that when they played Rangers or something. So it would be good. It'd be good just because we want to be petty. We can sell more tickets than they can have their highest attendance.
Well, I'm fine with that because I've already ordered my signed ticket for Robbo. I'm quite happy to chuck another 20 quid up to Inverness and just buy 4 of the £5 ones. So
Send one to Rab.
For the people that don't know who Rab is, just go in our mentions. It's Rab that isn't bothered that we've sold all these tickets, that beats us every day to tell us how much he isn't bothered that we're selling all these tickets. Rab, not bothered, Dunfermline. There we go.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Bike Speed UK. Any Jambo using the promo code This Is My Story will get 10% off at checkout.
For every biker's every need, think Bike Speed UK. From motorcycle parts and accessories to the best biker wear. Think bike, think Bike Speed UK.
Cool. Right, welcome back to This Is My Protein Toast podcast. We've just had a linseed toast break. We're now back, ready, full of energy, aren't we, boys?
Other toasts are available.
And I had beer because I'm not on a health kick. So fuck you, Shanks.
Right, let's break it up with Deividas Quiznauskis. This week, I'm Quizmaster.
I'm worried about this, if I'm
Have
honest.
you done it before? I can't
You
imagine
should
you did
be.
it before.
I don't think he has.
No.
These are not actual questions. These are things I'll
Opinions.
tell you reasons why I hate somebody, and you have to guess who it is I'm talking about.
Right, okay.
He eats
Number
toast
one.
when he's meant to be
Like
recording
genuinely.
a podcast.
Like, genuinely.
Number one, your clues are the curry shed, no swearing, grass on your mates. Who does Corbett hate?
Is it hands up or what?
I'm only kidding on that's not the quiz.
Oh, absolute Buxton as well. I was like, definitely Buxton, 100%.
You're at Buxton, like, yes, 1 point.
That's what I'm thinking, man. I've got a point at least.
Right here, we've got rules at this quiz. Everybody, because we're on YouTube and people can see us, hands like this now.
How am I meant to write?
You can just shout out and I'll write down for you. Aye.
Okay.
Hands where we can see them.
Jazz
Right.
hands.
See,
Aye.
this is good because we're not being told the subject in advance, so I'm happy with that.
Question 1. Which current Hearts player scored the first goal of George Burley's tenure at Hearts, obviously?
Shanks.
Right, on you go, Shanks. Have a stab.
You know, giving ABs and C's and D's and that.
No. Just get it right.
Current Hearts player. As in he
Current
still plays for Hearts.
Which current Hearts player scored the first goal of George Burley's tenure as the Hearts manager? This is the first league game. You can say that. We're not caring about friendlies or pre-seasons.
He's jumped anybody other than Shanks now because he's taking forever.
All right, we'll go right. Brad, what's your answer?
I'm going with Christoph Berra.
What are you looking at? Like, you've prepared your answer.
Like you wrote it down with your hands in the air.
Kev, what's your answer?
Christoph Berra.
Tam,
Berra.
Ando.
I knew it was a defender. I was going to guess Berra because it's the only guy that can be left.
And then Shanks, are you going to have a stab at the dark?
Well, it's obviously not Robbie Nielsen, so it's better.
0 all the way round. Stephen Naismith scored the first goal of George Burley's tenure because he scored for Kilmarnock.
Oh, you fucking dickhead.
He scored the first goal. That's why I said which current Hearts player.
I don't know whose audio is doing the audio this week, but you're
There we go. So for anybody at home keeping score, that's no points
That's
all
a good
the way
question,
round.
though. I like that. You utter treacherous piece of shit wank. But
So you cannot have half a point because she's on you. I was talking about Budge to begin with. So do you want me to break up the 5 questions with? You want another guess who Corbett hates, and I'll just randomly tell you things about it.
I think this is the only way I'm going to get points. So yeah, go for it.
Wait, I'm thinking on my feet. Plays the same formation every week. Buys his suit to Matalan.
It's Robbie
the
Nielsen.
referee.
Point for me. Thank you.
Question 2.
Are we doing a wee point structure where it's like 2 points for question 2 or?
That's
Well,
6
I-
points, Thomas.
It's easy to figure out now because none of you got anything, so 0. This question is worth 2. In 2006, which name and number did Rudy Scatchell wear whilst lifting the Scottish Cup? Which name and number did Rudy Scatchell wear whilst lifting the Scottish Cup? Shanks.
Hartley. I'm going to make an absolute Shanks this. I think it's 8, but I think I'm wrong.
Okay. Bradley.
7.
And what was the player? Or what was the name?
I was going with Shanks as well. Hartley, 7.
Hartley and 7. Kev.
Hartley and 7.
Tam.
I thought it was Hartley 10.
What's your answer? That's not
Hartley
an
10. Aye.
Ando.
I don't know if I'm going through some sort of confirmation bias here, but I wanted to say Hartley 7 and somebody else's. These two have already said it. I don't know if that's right, though. It probably isn't. I think I've been suckered in by Shanks and Brads here. Hartley 7.
We can't keep this going all the time. Tam got it right. It's Hartley 10.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I made me question myself there.
Aye, was Hartley always 10 throughout his full Hearts career?
Tam, you've got 2 points.
Don't know. Thanks.
Sorry, Shanks, but this is my feature. I didn't start asking questions on Shanks McCann. You're not asking questions.
Squad numbers. Who gives a fuck about squad numbers?
Right. Question 3. Who was the last Hearts sub in the 2012 Cup final? Who was the last sub? He came on in 86 minutes. Shanks. Do you want me to go somewhere else? Because you've had the answer first all the time. Right,
I'll go.
I'll put it in a randomizer. Kev, who came on last sub for Hearts in the 2012 Scottish Cup final?
It's between 2 for me. I'm going to be big and bold and say Towel.
Okay.
Eddie Towel.
No problem. Brad's.
I was thinking Meditao, but he was on earlier for the penalty. Fuck it, I'm going to go with Towel as well.
Good up. Tam.
I'm going different again, but it might be wrong. I thought it was Beattie.
Okay. Ando.
Robinson.
And Shanks.
Was that Andy Kirk? It was Andy Kirk.
Correct. Give him all the points.
The answer is correct, Ando. You were right. Scott Robinson.
Thank you.
Was the last Hearts sub.
Now I've said that. Beattie didn't even come on, did he?
Beatty did come on. Beatty came on for Suso.
Kyle came on first, then Beatty, and then Scott Robinson. Right. So that puts Ando in the lead. Kev, Brads, and Shanks, if you're wondering, you're on nothing. So
I just got others win this week.
And Tam, you're on 2. Right. Number 4 for 4 points. How many Scottish players started the 1998 Cup final for Hearts? And I've had a fatal flaw in my thing, mate, is I didn't write down the answer. So, wait a second. Right. Now that we're back and I actually have the answer myself now, let's do question 4 for 4 points. How many Scottish players started the 1998 Cup final for Hearts? Right. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Right, Ando, you go first.
I'm going to say 8.
Okay. Shanks.
I was going to say 8, but no doubt I've humped one of them, so I'll go 7.
Okay. Brads.
I want to find out who in the 98 team Shanks humped. I had 8 in my head. I was definitely going to say 8. I'll be honest here.
Should have stuck.
Kev.
7.
If Sam gets this right, I'll be raging.
Well, I had 7 as well.
Aye, so you did that.
No, I'll try to work it out.
And Ando, you gave your answer, didn't you?
I did. I said 8.
I reckon I could name the 4 foreigners, if it is 4. Not 4.
Yeah. The answer is indeed 7.
Oh, fuck. That's annoying.
Yeah.
And then
4.
Sam, who are the players? Who are the 7?
So you got Rusey, Adam.
He's no Scottish. So
Aye, I'm saying the ones that aren't Scottish.
I want the Scottish guys. Talk me through them.
Naismith, Weir, Richie. Right back was Canny Mind. Then you got Cameron, Fulton, McCann. How many have I done? 6?
Zach, you're still looking for the right back.
Right back.
Come on, Tam.
Can't honestly mind, but I know as soon as you say it, I'll get it. Obviously, but that's.
I'm not saying that. 2 minutes ago, I didn't even write down the answer. What makes you think I've actually written down the names?
You're going to have to help me with the right back, Kev.
Dave McPherson.
Yep.
Team was Rusey, McPherson, you want Richie, Weir, Naismith.
I got it.
Salvatore, Flogel.
Oh, fucking hell. Boys.
Phil.
You know what? I could have cheated here because I've got a pint glass from Jam Tea Art with the entire squad written on the side of it.
Your bloody background really helps.
About all this, it looks like you're holding up a willy.
Okay, right, well, there you go.
It's completely and utterly blocked.
I'll put it in front of my face. There you go. It's the pint glass available from Jam Tea Art. Like, it's got everybody on it. I've been sat looking at it and I didn't even fucking register. What a stupid bastard.
I only got the Italian boy, so that was how I was.
Right, the sad news is that we need somebody else other than Tam to get this last one right.
I'll get it, don't worry.
Or we're having an absolute thing. Right, hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. Right,
number pay box for the next round.
Number 5 is a closest to the pin situation. Right?
Go.
What was the League Cup final in 2013 attendance where we played St Mirren? What was the official attendance? Right. I'll go round the room. Tam, I'll start with you since I don't want you to get it right. So there you go.
28,600.
28,600 for T. Kev?
I'm going to go with 50,081 because that's 81's your favourite number.
That is my favourite number. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. Brad's?
39,200.
Ando?
What game is this again? Sorry, I wasn't listening.
2013 League Cup final.
Okay, I'll go 42,550.
No, I'm just writing 500.
So, but
Means I'm miles away.
It comes into it, we can put your very specific answer in. Shanks, where was the game held?
Fuck up, I was there. Missed all 3 goals and we've fallen down the stairs.
So I was going to say, can you mind that in this game? Because I can't.
We got beat 3-1 against St Mirren, did we not? It was absolutely dreadful.
3-2. But
3-2. Anyway, doesn't matter. My answer is 37,501.
Oh, just
no, 5. You're not getting the 1. Right. How does this work?
So we're going to have to do some maths here.
What's the actual attendance?
Well, Ando, you win. Because
yes!
the actual closest attendance, the actual attendance was 44,036. So, Ando, you were the closest. You get 5 points, which means you beat Tam.
Excellent. And every single one of yous can all bite my banger.
Like it.
Really?
I can confirm that the number is 1 less because Shanks did come into the game and then instantly left. I mean, before the ball had even been kicked, he was sitting next to me. He was like, "I'm away for a hot dog."
Aye, I went for a hot dog at Ibrox.
I'm sure you were fighting with your old man at the hot dog stand. Like, not even kidding.
It was. I just remember the whole game going by, and then Shanks was just outside, like, right. I was like, "Where have you been?"
In fact, Corbett, was I not sat next to you? Were we not on the shit side of the ground?
Aye, we were in the Celtic end. It was awful. Let's not talk about it. Let's move on.
I'm sure I was sat next to you.
Aye,
sat next to you? I didn't. I've maybe done that.
I would have enjoyed that better. It was absolutely dreadful. It was one of those days like Gretna where there was 11,000 actual Hearts fans and the rest were all face painters and covered there with their kids and their pals and eating hummus and fighting over hot dogs. It was absolutely awful. It was a terrible day. Let's move on.
Right. Maybe some of our listeners like hummus and fighting over hot dogs.
I'm vegan. I live off hummus. I still don't like it. It's disgusting. Right. We've been trying and stalling, but we have to talk about it. You'll remember when we introduced new features, we had a feature called Pat Stanton, the Hibs boy famous for pissing his pants. And then we decided that the feature would be, we would go through the topical pant-wetting themes of following Hearts for the week or whatever, and then we would discuss the merits of whether it's justified pant-wetting or just pant-wetting. But this week, we're just calling the review of the Queen of the South game Pat Stanton, because all of us have pissed our pants about it, because it was dreadful. So, to start, we played Queen of the South on Friday night, and the game finished 1-1. It was absolute dire. The weird thing, I think if we can't ignore it, if we're going to talk about it, we actually started pretty well. First 15 to 20 minutes, we played with tempo, played with purpose. Me and Ando actually on the call spoke about the fact that it felt like we were desperate to get Gary Mackay-Steven a goal, that every time Boyce had an opportunity to shoot, he tried to pass to Gary Mackay-Steven. There was at least 2 incidents in the first 20 minutes where Boyce cut inside, found himself some space and passed in the box towards GMS instead of shooting himself. And then, as is always, we didn't score. Very much like Allo in the Cup. We didn't score, we also didn't create any chances. And then it was just turgid stuff. In our defence, and without going down that road, it was never a penalty. Their penalty was a dive. It don't matter what way you look at it. The guy clearly cut inside, motioned his leg to Kingsley, and nothing Kingsley can do. We can't get out of the way, he can't move, he can't do anything. That's never a penalty in a million years. The actual penalty itself was rubbish. Gordon had even went remotely to the other side. He'd saved it with his big toe because it was scuffed, dreadful. Tried to do one of those wee hop, skip and a jump things, and it just trickled by. And then we obviously got our own penalty, which for me, it's going to sound total Bitter Hearts podcast. It was a Stonewall penalty. I don't even think you can argue with it. The boy was nowhere near it. that was pretty much it in terms of what happened on the match action. We'll talk a wee bit in depth in a wee second about tactics and what's going wrong, what's not working, and what we like to see different for Morton. But Tam, what was your overall view of the match?
Just as you say, we started brightly. I was quite impressed, to be fair. I think I can see why the ref gave the penalty. I know after watching like 5 replays, different angles, the boy does put his leg out, and see it real time, I did think it was a penalty, and I hate to say it, but obviously you watch the replays back, it's a wee bit different. But other than that, just terrible. No like fight or drive. The only one giving anything was Boyce, and I felt quite sorry for him, to be honest. Naismith made a wee bit of difference when he came on, but it was just too late. There was too many passengers in the game by that point. But that's it.
If you take the referee's decision out of that passage of play, the actual passage of play leading up to the penalty was something that's more worrying than the penalty.
Yeah,
they did it to us all game, which was they just hit a channel, that one long ball over the top, and they were nearly in. They were causing us so much problems with just long balls over the top, turning Kingsley, turning Smith. Is it unfair to say that Kingsley's went off the boil since he signed his contract? Would you say that's unfair, or do you think now we'll talk about it a wee bit in a wee bit more detail in a second, because I rewatched the match on Friday and have some of the things that Kingsley and Smith did were part of our problems, but we're obviously now focused purely on not conceding loads of goals, and he doesn't seem to go forward with any purpose as much as what he used to. Ando?
I don't know if you can relate it back to the semi. Ever since then, he just hasn't been the player that he was beforehand.
The final.
What did I say?
The semi.
Sorry, but aye, exactly that. Pardon me for making a Shanks it, but aye, no, the final where he missed it. I don't know where in relation to that he signed his contract, but it seems for me from that point just hasn't been the same. I'm not suggesting for a second that the penalty miss is the cause of it, but the two of them seem tied together for me. That's where I've noticed it.
Aye, and am I right in saying that Kingsley cost us both the penalties against Rafe Rovers at Tynecastle and cost us the penalty at Queen of the South?
Yep.
As well. Tam, what were you going to say?
See, I don't think it's been Kingsley's fault as such. You've seen it with Michael Smith as well. The two wing backs aren't they driving forward like they used to? Yeah. I think that's been a tactical shift, the way it's worked, because I think since we've had Gary Mackay-Steven and well, when Janelli was there or Castlener, now we're actually trying to play with width. We're not concentrating on the two fullbacks to get forward.
Why does Ando just say that like Dr. Evil at Goldsmith, but it just feels spun round in his seat? Brad, what were you going to say?
Just ruined the best point I'd ever made in life, but thanks for that. It's all tactics with me. Like I'm class at tactics. I'll get more in later. It's fine.
Get a tactic board behind you.
It's actually Tam covered my point there. I think we're maybe being too critical in that sense because he's down, or we've seen less of him since Janelli came back, and then Gary Stevens has taken that position. So there's a lot of a burden off him getting forward as much. So he's just sticking to the defensive side of things, even though that's not been fantastic.
So I rewatched the game because we'd put on the group. Obviously, the reaction on social media, as we've said a million times before, and we're all guilty of it as well, is the fact that we're not there. Everything's uber-analysed or whatever, but you know, the reaction to the game on Friday was exactly what you'd expect. It wasn't good enough. I don't even think it's the result. A 1-1 draw on Friday night away to that crappy pitch and all that sort of stuff. You're
not blaming the pitch at all, are you?
No. I'm just. They're the things that, like, when there's fans in the stadium, a 1-1 draw there, if we had the right performance, you could have maybe said, fine, it's shite that we didn't win, but we'll move on. I think it's more the performances that are starting. You know, we kind of brushed it under the carpet. Dunfermline because we won 1-0. We brushed it under the carpet with Ayr because we won 1-0. And then Queen of the South were rubbish. We drew 1-1. It's like they're no longer becoming just sort of one-offs that stick out. They're becoming a trend. The sort of lackluster, poor performances. I'll go to Brad's first and then I'll go to Shanks because Brad would end up first. Brad's.
Just to the kind of years, and we know how shite it can be, and performances can be low, and you can think the blame, and we probably will. We'll look at Robbie's kind of setup and stuff like that in a minute. But I think the thing that really angered me from Friday's game was, as you said, players. Now, I can forgive a poor team performance if you're trying, but simple things for me like Walker losing possession and standing still, not tracking back with his man. No bothered his arse. He's been beaten dead easy and just stands still and expects somebody else to do the job. You've got Andy Halliday, who's just back past Barry Ferguson. Like, he has got no intention of playing anything forward. Andy Irvine losing possession again, being lazy on the ball. Michael Smith taking, honest to God, if you watch him play, if you watch back that performance, it takes about 5 minutes to play any pass, and he kills any sort of fast counter attack. They're unforgivable. That's basic stuff. And they're just being lazy. That has got to come down to the players at the end of the day. That's got to be their responsibility to step up their game and take responsibility for their role. And it didn't happen for me.
So I'll counter that by saying they did the exact same performance against Dunfermline, did the exact same performance against Rafe, the exact same performance against Ayr. Yeah, you're right. Players are professional football players. They should be able to go out and do it. But it's like any of us, show up late for your work once, maybe get your butt felt. Day twice, you'll get your arse scalped. 3 times, you're out the door. There's consequences to poor performance and not doing what you're told and not carrying out instructions. Where are the consequences? Because the same players make the same mistakes in the same formation and the same side week after week. Do you know what I mean? And your manager comes out and blames the surface. He comes out and blames the referee. He comes out and plays. And I get all that. I understand you want to protect players and you want them on side or whatever, but these players for seasons now have been mollycoddled. They've had excuses made for them. They've been protected by, we've had too many injuries, that's why we were rubbish under Levine. The league called the league when we could have got out of trouble. That's why we get relegated. Like, there comes a point where somebody has to hold these players accountable. Andy Irvine will play on Saturday. Andy Halliday will play on Saturday. Kingsley will play. Smith will play. Boyce will play, even though he's scoring. Gary Mackay-Steven will play. I would be shocked if Castanier and Walker don't play as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I get what you're saying, Bradley. You're absolutely right. Players, it's the basics of football that they're not doing well, but then there comes a point where are they being allowed to just get away with it? Shanks, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I think it's totally noticeable where we were at the start of the season to now as well on our set piece play. We would have still won that game by 2 or 3 at the beginning of the season because we would have taken our chances even if we were getting kind of part of the bus mentality in open play. To go in there and have 12 corners, we've got some dominant boys in there on Saturday. We've got Popescu, we've got Castanier, Irvine, Halkett, 12 corners and not to be even coming away with 1 there. Disappointing. I don't know what's going wrong.
Me and Ando watched it together, and there was a sequence of 5 corners in a row in the first half that Gary Mackay-Steven hit the exact same corner 5 times in a row. Didn't beat the front man. Now, there's loads of aspects of that bug me. One, he hits the first one and doesn't beat the front post. Somebody in that either shouts at him, says, put it to the back post, or they get together and say, let's get to the front post ourselves. If he's not going to beat the man, they just did the same thing. It wasn't until I watched it back, it wasn't until the 4th corner that Boyce and Popescu
moved forward.
They moved to the front post. And it's like, we're watching that as fans. I'm not a professional football player. He's taken the corner. One, how a professional football player can't kick the ball from the corner flag past the 6-yard box is really worrying. But how he was just doing the same thing over, and the manager shouted, "What you doing? Shout down, change the corner kick taker, put somebody else on it, or shout to the boys, get to the front post." It was like ball in, headed out, corner, ball in, headed out, corner, ball in, headed out, corner, and it was like, what are we doing? Is somebody going to go to the front post? And it wasn't until the 4th corner that Boyce and Popescu went, and then went again, and it was like, it was just a terrible passage to play, and it was summed up what we were trying to do. So again, I rewatched it, and Bradley, you absolutely right in what you said, and Tam touched on it there too. One of our biggest issues, we were leaking goals, far too many. We conceded 3 at home to Ayr. Boxing Day, I think it was, wasn't it? We've been leaking 3 at home to Rafe Rovers, 3 away to Dundee. We were leaking goals left, right and centre. And you can see that the team on Robbie have said, right, we need to stop conceding goals, which is fine. And we haven't. With the goal we conceded on Friday was the first goal we've conceded in 3 matches. And that's fine. But what we lose from focusing on defence is that Smith and Kingsley don't go forward. They don't overlap. So, for example, you give the ball to Gary Mackay-Steven on the wing. If Smith or Kingsley go by him, he's got options. But whenever they don't go by him, Gary Mackay-Steven is 2-on-1. There's 2 men pressing him, and it's why they just turn and go back. It was so often, same with Castaneer on the right. As soon as they got the ball to him, Smith and Kingsley didn't go by him. Boyce made runs, but that was about it. There was just no movement at all. And the other thing that bugs me, and I said it to Ando when we were watching it live, is see the amount of times we take our touch and face our own goal. It is so infuriating. Like you said, Brad's about Mikey Smith. He takes an age to take any pass, but so do them all. Every one of them want to take a first touch, and 9 times out of 10, the first touch turns them facing back towards our goal. So we're constantly going backwards, which is why Andy Halliday's passes are always backwards. It's why Andy Irving tries 30-yard diags, because they're just getting pressed, and that's too easy. At this, we're not playing against Celtic and Rangers and Hibs and Aberdeen and Motherwell. That's too easy for Queen of the South, for Ayr, for Rafe to be able to manage to manipulate our game so easily that all they have to do is press and engage, and we go back to Craig Gordon. It's so infuriating. Ando?
That bit you were saying just towards the end about back to goal, I hadn't even noticed that until you started like screaming about it on our call during the match on Friday, and that's something I'll be paying attention to. But because again, as I say, I've not noticed it, but it was absolutely shite. For the minute you pointed that out, I'm like, what are you doing, man? What absolutely are you doing? The bit I was going to say, it's about adaptation, right? And so there's a couple of points on that. It's like Gary Mackay-Steven's obviously clearly been practicing all fucking week to land the ball at a certain point in the penalty box. Doesn't know how to adapt. So he's been training hard. He knows he can land the ball where it needs to be. I don't know who's enforcing that, right? And it's probably part of a bigger point to do with Robbie overall, which is, like, how many times did we see, not only in that game on Friday, but in the previous one as well, whereby the opposition aren't really engaging us until we get up to a certain position within the park, right? It's not until we get into the final third that then it's almost a kind of swarm mentality, right? Cool, let's all activate and go after the ball. That happens so many times. It's like they're quite happy for us to let sort of piss about the ball in the front 2/3, and it's only when there's any danger that they engage. Robbie doesn't really seem to adapt his style of play to counter that, right? Everything that I've seen over the last 3 games has been incredibly static. That's across all those 3 things, which is, right, Gary Mackay not landing the ball, consistently landing the ball in the same spot, then the people advancing up the park, not being able to break them down, and then obviously the back to the goal thing. It's the same thing. It's repetitive. There's no adaptation whatsoever, and he needs to look at that.
Right. No, I think it took until Walker had a shot after 38 minutes or something like that. That was the first time we actually worked the keeper. That to me is also worrying.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's because Andy Irving playing a little bit deeper and because he's got men on him, but we don't even have anybody that's willing to take a shot from 20 yards. You see, we get into that sort of final third. We're always looking and side to side, trying to break the line and trying to have it. Sometimes it's worth just having a dig, and especially Andy Irving, because he scored a few absolute pingers. So we've got Morton at home on Saturday. I said on the Big Hearts call earlier tonight that Morton are the worst team I've seen us play against this year. They were absolute jobby at Morton. So they're going to come to Tynecastle and put 10 men behind the ball. We're going to have to be at it. So quickly round the tables, if we want to go, what would you change for Saturday, Bradley?
I would completely change the formation. I'm going to go 3-5-2.
Okay.
Even potentially even a 3-5-1-1. Just because something that I know Kev's been saying it for ages, and something he keeps going on about is needing enough players to go and pass once they've passed the ball, to go past the marker or run past the striker. The only way we do that is if we flood the middle of the park. So for me, I would have 3 at the back, probably the usual 2 centre backs, and probably Mikey Smith. I know him and Kingsley are interchangeable, so one of them could go in that back 3, and then I would have the wings backs of either Kingsley and Castanier or Smith and potentially even GMS. In the middle, I would play Harron. I know he's fully fit. Get him in there, or Halliday as a CDM. Allow Irvin and McAneff to sit a wee bit higher, and then have Walker and Boyce sitting right up the top. That would be me. 3-5-2.
Okay. Do you want to give us your Morton prediction? No, actually, we'll come for Morton predictions once we've been round the table. Shanksy, what would you change? Just get proper Hearts boys up there. Gadgies.
Naismith's got to start for me.
Oh.
Aye.
Controversial.
Naismith in there for the start.
Whereabouts?
Just giving it Laldy. Just fucking anywhere, man.
Drop Gordon.
Happy
last Friday night.
Happy to go free at the back, and then just get him in there up Walker's arse.
Right. So Walker's playing up front, is he?
No.
No,
Sorry,
right.
we'll have Boyce up front. We'll have Walker
Right.
in the 10, and
Right.
we'll have Naismith in a 9.5.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
right.
That sounds good. Ando, what was about your team?
Oh, I'm going to go even more wild than that. And I've not really thought about this. I'm just saying it for banter, but I would say a 3-4-3.
Right.
Just do that because, right, you know what? Those wee rides aren't going to get far enough forward. We can get away with 3 at the back and then just 7 in the midfield, mixture of midfield and forward. I'll work on it. I've not really quite mapped out who I've got playing in all these positions yet, but 3-4-3, absolutely flood the middle of the park forward, and just it'll be a war of attrition on Saturday. I want the traditional Corbett 6-0, and the only way we're going to get that is by overloading the front part of the field, and the only way you can do that is going to be a 3-4-3, 3 trustworthy guys at the back, everybody else just go fucking mental.
And if we play, but not to be Mike Bassett or whatever, but 3-4-3 or whatever it is you said is basically.
Does that add up to 11?
That's
Right,
free.
plus the one
That's free.
back.
That's basically 3-5-2 anyway. If you depending on how you set up your midfield, but that's fine. Kev.
I agree. I think I think a back 3, whether that be Halkett, Kingsley, Popescu, or Halkett, Popescu, and Smith. I think it's the right way to go. I'm going to say it. You have to drop either Halliday or Irving. The two of them want to do exactly the same thing. They want to play exactly the same position. So from my point of view, whichever one you drop, whether it be Irving or or Halliday, you bring in McAneff. You're right. When he took the ball on Friday night, his positional sense was bang on, because he always wanted to push it onto the right foot to actually move forward with the ball, whereas everybody tries to, tends to be that they're always square on. I just think that's just pointless. I don't know if Gwanda Lee is going to be available on Saturday. Let's say he's just not going to be. I would then have Naismith and Boyce up front. But I think it's a question of which one of the two you drop, whether you drop Halliday or whether you drop Irving.
Tam?
It's not going to be a back 3. I'll guarantee that right now.
Yep.
It's either going to be that 4-2-3-1 or it'll be that narrow 4-4-2, whatever it was previously. The biggest change we need is actually people to show a bit of fight and a forward pass. That's the biggest difference I would like to see, regardless of who's playing, what they are. It's pointless saying who should play, because we should hammer them regardless. So just a performance would be good for me.
But you've been too sensible, Tam. Right. So the question was, what would you change? right?
What
So
would that change?
yeah, that was the question posed to you by Corbett, and sorry for going
the
after.
manager.
Aye, exactly. Sorry for going after you here, but all you've said is I want a performance. That's not changing anything. What would you actually change?
Was there a performance on Friday night?
No, it was the
That
fuck.
could change.
Yeah, but that's not something that you have the ability to
No, I
change,
know.
though, is it?
Honestly, I'm not paid to make these choices, so I'd put McAneff in. I'd take it Irvin ahead of Halliday, to be honest with you.
Thanks, Tom.
Because he's just not be up for that. Other than that, we spoke about it earlier on Big Hearts Call. I don't want to keep going back to it because there wasn't as many people on, but it'd be good to see a partnership with boys and Nandwilly. I said that really badly, Nandwilly. But like a partnership, and just use that for the rest of the season. Test it out. Like, we're going to win the league, I would imagine. So if you start using them as a partnership, it'd be good to quite test it.
Shanks hates that chat.
Mate. If you looked up the dictionary, waffle, that was what you did there. Jesus Christ. You can't yourself
It's
not
at the 9.5.
I don't
Well,
know.
I'm
I don't
sorry,
even know
YouTube
what
viewers, because you'll not even see what I just said because I'm just going to cut all that.
It's
Well,
getting,
you can't know because you've just used it in the chat. So.
Well, don't worry about it. Most of our listeners are just that, listeners. They'll hear the shite you spoke there.
I
It's
love
fine.
that. Just Pam, what shape would you change? Just play better.
Yeah, well, like, I didn't really care about the shape that much. Like, you should be beating Greenock Morton with me playing up front and
Or
Ando
steady.
playing right back or something. I don't know.
Right.
But
but that's the magic here podcast. Just give your opinions. So I am like what other people say. I know we'll get a Robbie special on Saturday. We won't change. He's never changed the formation the whole time he's been the manager. But I would, if I was Robbie Nielsen, this league is done. We've got 11 games left. We are 13 points in front, or whatever it is. It'll take an absolute disaster for us not to win the league. So start building for next year. What do we want to play? What style are we going to play? Because if we play 4-2-3-1, 4 in possession football like we've seen, we'll be back in the championship the year after because it's dull, it's boring. If Queen of the South can figure out how to play against us, Hamilton and Ross County and St Mirren and all the sides we always struggle to beat are just going to beat us as they did before. So I think the best players and the best way to play would be 3-5-2. I'd like to see, even because of the standard the player in the league that we're in, I'd like to see Smith, Halkett and Kingsley at the back. I think you've still got attacking threat there. I'd play Haring because Haring can drop if Kingsley or Smith go forward. I like Andy Irving. I don't get the hype as much as everybody else with Andy Irving. I think he's a good player, but I don't. If he podcast on a Monday on Open Goal, I think he'd get slaughtered. He gets away with it because he's a Hearts boy. I don't think Andy Halliday has been substantially worse than Andy Irving. I would argue, if we're playing devil's advocate, I get it in because I like to say it every week, that Andy Irving and Andy Halliday are asked to do the same thing. That's the manager's decision to play the two of them, and they both do the exact same thing. Andy Halliday was seeing the best out of him when McAneff's came on and he's went forward, and Andy Halliday can do the dog's work. He can break up the play, he can chase the ball down. I think that's what we get the best out of him. I'm doing this like an Italian guy. I'm like, we do this and we do that, we do this. So I would also as well, we're going to have to play Castanier. He's only here for 3 months. Have to play. I said on the call earlier today that there's no point in dropping Gary Mackay-Steven, even though he's been howling, because he's not going to get any better sitting on the bench here as well. Just keep playing him. It'll get his fitness. You can use these games as pre-season fitness for him just to get some legs and all that sort of stuff. And to be honest with you, I would play Naismith and Boyce up front. I'm not interested in seeing Nandwilly. He's not going to be anything for Hearts. I've seen enough to know that he's not going to be amazing for us. Naismith's an international goal scoring striker. Play him as a striker. Stop playing him as a 10, and play Walker with some freedom. So that's what I would like to see. Predictions then, Bradley. What's your prediction for Saturday?
2-0 Hearts.
Shanks.
4-1 Hearts.
Ando.
I'm going to go 2-0 Hearts.
Kev.
3-0 Hearts, and this will probably be the 1 week that Nielsen Molney actually changed the side.
Tam.
1-0 Hearts.
Aye, I'm there or thereabouts. I don't think Morton will score because they're absolute jobby, so fuck it, why not? 6-0. It's been a while. It's going to have to happen.
Back.
It's going to have to happen one of these days. I'm saying we'll say 6 now.
Right, we're away up in Gorgie with me, aren't we?
Yes, let us
Lovely.
go to Ando with Away Up in Gorgie because we're all in lockdown. We can't get to the football, and we're all missing heading to away days and heading to our spiritual home, which is Tynecastle. We started the feature, which is Away Up at Gorgie, where we basically review pubs, clubs, swing parks, chippies, anything in and around Tynecastle that we like to partake before the football. So far, we've had Dickens and we've had Benson's. I think Benson's scored higher in the Gorgie meter because Dickens is just too far away. There we go. Right. Ando,
So,
what have we got?
well, my wee battle cruiser of choice, and I've just let a cat out of the bag there. It is an absolute. Oh, there's no other way of saying it. It's a shithole. It's an absolute.
It's pure shithole.
Exactly, it's an absolute dive of a place. Even looking at it for the street outside, it just looks minging. Like it's absolutely shoddy. Then I've been in there at some stage where every single one of you boys, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Just a couple of wee pointers and stick your hands up if you can guess where it is. So it looks like shit. When you walk in, it smells like shit. There's a wee old quiney working behind the bar. There's a pool table there, which gets a board put over the top of it, and some old manny selling badges. And you have now all got your hands up. So I think Brad's was up first. So Brad's, can you guess where I'm at?
That has to be Stratty's.
100% correct. It is Stratty's, right? It's one of the best pubs in Gorgie. And the reason it's one of the best pubs in Gorgie is because it's a stone's throw from the ground, right? So easy, you can tip out of there, be in the ground within 2 or 3 minutes. It's got a proper pub atmosphere. And by that, I mean, it's the kind of place that you wouldn't take your bird, right? You would definitely not walk in there with the missus. You're sticking 2 fingers up, Kev. Then
I've done it.
maybe the rest of your misses are respectable compared to yours. I don't know.
My birds had a few Dickens.
But aye, it's as I say, somewhere you wouldn't take your missus because you walk in, you just start sticking to the carpet. The bogs are a shambles. The place is an absolute fucking disgrace. It stinks. It's minging, but it's my kind of pub and I love it.
Shanksy.
So I used to live on Wardlaw Street and regularly used to get the bus into the Gyle for work at 7:30, and there were boys rolling out of there on a Tuesday morning, absolutely reeking. I think it opens at 6 for the posties that have been on the night shift, and fuck me, I was jealous.
Sam.
You missed the best point. They give it free pies before the game, man. I love a pie.
No. Well, we can tell that from the look of you, but you're also just a Shylock, aren't you? It's like you'll not have anything unless it's for free.
Wow. 100%. You know it quite well.
Included.
But
I'm just walked past somebody's table and picked up the lunch.
Well, exactly. I was going to go one further. I bet he's been into the bog, picked up the piss cakes out the urinal, and carried them home. He's all, I'll just put them in the cistern.
The urinal.
The urinal. Sorry, I was I chewed my own tongue off a wee bit there. I've had a few drinks. Fuck you.
To be fair, you stole my nomination, so it gets a 10 out of 10 in the Gorgie meter for me.
Absolutely. Can you tell me a pub that's more Gorgie?
I'm the Gorgie meter decider.
Okay.
It does score highly though. I'll give you that. Although I do like a toilet that doesn't resemble a World War I trench. So it's probably a 9 on the Gorgie meter, but it's a belter. Shanks.
I've got a potential extra half point that is not been covered.
That could potentially take me to 10.
Better than pies.
There is a secret top bar up by the disabled toilet, so should you be one of the wankers that's 5 deep at the bar, I'll begin at Yaldi at the top with my pal.
That was going to be my Stratty's top tip, is to go stand by the wee bar that they have to collect the glasses from. And as they come past you, you go, 2 pints, big man. And they go and get you the pints. It's brilliant.
Has anybody ever noticed, though, that particular disabled toilet is up 3 stairs?
Yes.
Classic, innit?
It's brilliant.
That is a
brilliant.
classic.
It's a good boozer.
Yeah,
I think it was the first place I met you, Ando, so you're right.
Well, I'm sorry for that, Kev. It was probably all your fault, but
as is tradition in Away Up in Gorgie, a quick show of hands if you've ever been kicked out of Stratty's.
Yep, definitely.
Just Ando. There we go. That's a strong one. Right.
It's good that they're not kicking folk out, because we're all arseholes.
Can't get kicked out of Stratty's.
You definitely can, but it's not something that I can talk about live to the listeners. That might make the Patreon whenever we have a Patreon.
This is my story, OnlyFans.
Exactly.
I'm stealing it. I'm stealing the part of OnlyTams.
OnlyTams.
Credit to Rob Borthwick for that part, because I stole that from him. Right. Cut that out. Beep that bit. Beep. Make it sound like I said. Right, let's move on, Kev. We've got Gorgie boys are in town. Where are we going this week? We had some negative feedback from last week, mainly from Rab Fermlin, who was upset that he said Falkirk was a nice place to go.
I feel like I should apologise to Rab for that then. No, okay. So, my next place on the list is actually a shithole of a place. I'm not going to lie here, and anybody who comes for there, I'm not even going to apologise. Paisley. Paisley is... Aye. I mean, Paisley is... I mean, it's not exactly a great place. And nobody really likes it, man. I mean, I can that, Brad's is sitting there with a St Mirren top on. But, I mean, nobody really likes St Mirren at all. But there you go. I think even St Mirren fans don't like St Mirren, but there you go. So there is a couple of decent boozers. Unfortunately, the best boozer in Paisley is now closed down. It was called the Alamo. I don't know if anybody's been lucky enough to frequent the Alamo.
I rented a car for there one time, but we'll move on.
The only person on the pod that would really appreciate that part is away for a piss. Because he used to be a hire car salesman.
They sacked him.
There's also there's the last post, which is right next to the train station, and every place needs a decent boozer next to the train station, so you can have one last one before jumping back on the train. There's also a boozer called O'Connor's, and the last time I was in there, we all got lined up by the police. We all got our IDs checked by the same Her Majesty's Finest. But thankfully, we all got away scot-free.
Rangers.
Was yours still in scripture or something? Did you have to do one of those scrolls to show your ID, Kev?
No, it was just on a bit of concrete, mate, that I carry on.
It's mad. There's Moses and then my name under it.
Carrying a tombstone, he's not even dead yet.
That's what happens. That's what you've got to do. But what the reason I've picked out Paisley is for a particular visit that we had back in March 21st, 2012. It was my wee brother's birthday. We all jumped on the train in Edinburgh. We had a good old carry out. And that train that goes through certain parts of, let's just class it as west of Livingston. It's a bit scary sometimes. But we've got ourselves through into Glasgow Queen Street. We've got half an hour to get ourselves down to Glasgow Central. Of course, anytime you take a train for Glasgow Central, you've got to go into the Toby Jug next door to it just to get some free and cheap drink. And then we get ourselves into Paisley. As I say, some decent boozers round about the train station. Get ourselves to the ground. That particular night was the replay after a 2-2 home draw in the Scottish Cup. And that particular night, we walked straight in just to see us concede a penalty. But thankfully, Jamie Mack saved the penalty, and we went on to record a decent 2-0 victory on the night with goals from the one and only slayer of Derek Adams, the gerbil that is, and the wizard of us, as far as we're all concerned, the left-footed wizard that is Scatchel. So this week's away days sort of tour is to Paisley.
And that's a nice way to round it up, Kev, because we will never be giving anybody from Paisley our money ever again after the shambles that was the pre-season or the post-season or whatever you want to call it. They will not be getting the steam off my piss.
No, we'll just we'll rock up. We'll even just stand outside,
Aye.
out abuse, and then I'll jump back on the bus and back home again. With 3 in the back. That's good.
I'm really looking forward to see who turns round in The Voice. What's that program called? Where like the seat turns round or whatever? Is it The Masked Singer or something? Who's going to turn round? Oh, I think he's said a no to your Paisley trip. That's what it is. Right. Well,
I'm just delighted that Kev's not doing the Visit Scotland marketing. So he picks Falkirk then fucking Paisley. And just go 2 places.
yeah.
Telling you. The influx of folk. The only problem is they would all have to pay £1,700 to stay in a flipping Holiday Inn outside Edinburgh Airport before they could get to go anywhere.
No, he's come back. Jinko
Comes.
He said yes.
Oh, it's Will I Am.
Right.
Yes.
He's back. What act are you putting through to the final show?
Yes.
Over his head. Over his head. Right, let's move on.
Oh, is this because my seat was back to front?
It's like you're an X Factor judge. Let's end it with Noah's by Our Noise. So, for the people that missed 2 weeks ago, Noah's by Our Noise feature is basically one of the podcasters will give us an alternate commentary for some iconic Hearts goals. They will miss out all of the key details, like names, dates, stadiums, all that type of stuff. And we have to try and guess the iconic goal based on the iconic commentary. And this week, we've got Bradley. And this week,
Here we go, boys.
This week, can't you?
Well, I was only going to do half because Ando just done 1. So I was just... and then go for there. But I've got 3 for you. So we'll follow in and see how you get going. This could be an absolute shambles. I'm going to try to channel my inner Tam here. And go for it. So,
It's a bad
goal
place
number.
to be that.
It's a bad place to
Don't shit yourself.
Right, goal number 1. Skipper, who played 7,000 long passes but never found a man, actually decides to play a short pass for once. Hits it into the middle of the park. He hits it to one of the midfield duo who's always a hit or miss. He then plays a 1-2 with Billy Big Boz, who then went on to do fuck all in his career. Plays another 1-2 and the ball is then fed back into the middle of the park. This wee shagger picks up the ball. There's a dirtiest nutmeg in history to send the Scumdonian the other way. He then had to be shipped off to Romania to recover after that. The wee man then lets fly with the left peg, goes into the top bins. Tiny goes mental. I'll get you to write them down first of all, and then we'll in fact, Kev,
Right,
you
done.
Kev,
Right.
Kev, you want to jump in with that? Who's that?
So I believe that is Nicholson against the Hibs in the 2-1 victory when we were last in the Championship.
No, Berra didn't play for us.
It wasn't better, but that is the correct goal.
Thank
Uh-huh.
you.
The
Right,
skipper
who's the
was
centre half?
Danny
The skipper,
Wilson.
Danny Wilson.
Ah, yeah.
Danny Wilson, if you watch back his entire playing career, he plays a long ball and never once finds his man. He was pissed.
Genuinely-
Billy Big Boz. Who's Billy Big Boz that went on to do fuck all in his career?
Ian Black.
Jordan McGee.
Let's just slaughter everybody.
The midfielder was.
No wonder we didn't get any players on this podcast.
Right, goal number 2. The hit or miss midfielder is back. He's involved. He pretends to play the pass, but stops. He then knocks the ball to the left. Our current beige winger attempts to close down the ball, but instead leaves a big fucking gap. This goal machine then rifles a left foot ping that flies into the top corner, leaving a gorgeous bastard standing scratching his arse. At that exact same moment, Scott Wilson reaches climax.
Mhm.
Shanks, what was that goal?
Well, it's obviously probably Osman So versus Celtic or Hibs at some point in the last 10 years.
It was So versus Celtic in the...
Yes!
Well done, Shanky. Aye, absolutely. Blabbin knocks the ball to the left, big strike. Just as I think Scott Wilson's announcing how long's left.
There will be 3 minutes on there.
So I actually thought that was a free kick that we scored for that day. So fair play.
Who's the current winger?
It was GMS tries to close down the ball, leaves a big gap, and a current beige winger. Because that's how he is, beige. Right, goal number 3. This goal embodies everything that I love about football and Hearts. A shite ball is whipped in from the right, straight to the striker's feet. Striker controls it, slides in, 100% a penalty, but it isn't given. The ball breaks to the edge of the box. The next player then scuffs it. It hits 4 or 5 players before dropping to this wee man's feet. This wee man will be signing with us in the next 2 seasons, so don't worry about that. He then scuffs the ball. It hits off the goalkeeper. It comes back to him. He slices it again, and it goes into the net. All hell breaks loose. Then the 2 hardest bastards in football look like they're either going to fight or kiss each other. Definitely a pay-per-view fight I would definitely pay good money to watch. Tam, who was that goal?
Absolutely no idea, man.
Me neither. I don't have a clue, but you know what? I could listen to that style of commentary all day. It's brilliant.
Corbett?
Jose Katongo v Celtic.
Who do you think the hardest bastard to play for Hearts would be?
Phil
who
Stamp.
looks like the hardest bastard?
Phil Stamp.
Nope.
Pasquale Bruno.
He's got a great jacket.
Brian Stevo.
So the goal would be, Kev, you should surely have this.
I didn't actually. Because I was going to do it exactly the same way as Corbett. I thought it was Katongo when you said about scuffing it left, right and centre.
This was, again, Sam Nicholson in the 3-3 draw against St Johnstone when they had a man sent off.
The keeper got sent off and they all were going square goes.
Oh, Alan Mannison pushed Steve-O. Steve-O then grabbed him by the face and he grabbed him by the face. And it looked intense. It looked like they were going to kiss, but then it looked like it was almost going to be a fight. And that was, if you watch back the goal, it embodies everything about Scottish football. It's just scuff after scuff after scuff. Goal, fight. Love it. That is what I love about football.
McDermott Park, is that right?
I think all these goals, didn't win. I think they went down to 10 men early as well. I think all these games were in the 2014 season. I might be wrong, but there you go. That was my wee quiz. Well done, boys.
That was decent.
I enjoyed that.
Brings us on to Ryan Stevenson, who just cut arms and legs out his trespass tent for the game on Friday, wasn't it? That was outrageous, man. What a jacket.
He doesn't have a pundit that actually called it correctly, though, eh?
Correct.
And then I remember,
but
I remember too that Nielsen and Budge, that binned him, didn't he, when they first took over? Right. So he's clearly looking for any opportunity to smash us, but I enjoyed it. I, for one, loved it.
I'm 100%.
How often you say that as well?
100% on his side.
Right. And I loved his jacket, I'm not even going to lie. So there we go. But I loved his 17, so. That's
still my gig.
That's still your gig. That's what I did. Don't worry, I go about stealing gigs. That's it. Right, that's pretty much it, isn't it? We've got Morton on Saturday and then probably Mayor Greeting. It'll be like 1 each or something, or we'll get beat 4-3. Morton haven't scored a goal in 2021 or something. They'll score 5 at Tynecastle and we'll all finalise it next Tuesday, and it'll be another lively, upbeat, positive podcast.
It'll be shit.
I, for one, look forward to it. Right, boys. If there's nothing else, I'll see you all next week.
Catch you later, mate.
See you later.
See you later, guys.
Burger out.